Finally, what can we take from liberalism? And here, as always, we must begin with those aspects that must not be borrowed. Perhaps, in this case, everything is described clearly and in a fairly detailed manner in Alain de Benoit's work Against Liberalism, toward the fourth political theory, to which I keep constantly and consciously referring in my explanation. Liberalism is the main enemy of the fourth political theory, which is being constructed specifically to be in total opposition to it. Yet, even here, as was the case with the other political theories, there is something important and something secondary. Liberalism as a whole rests on the individual as its most basic component. It is these individuals, collectively but in isolation from one another, that are taken as the whole. It is, perhaps for this reason, that the hermeneutic circle of liberalism turned out to be the most durable. It has the smallest orbit and rotates around its subject, the individual. In order to shatter this circle, we must strike the individual, abolish him, and cast him into the periphery of political considerations. Liberalism is well aware of this danger, and therefore undertakes one battle after another with all other ideologies and theories, social, philosophical, and political, that encroach on the individual, inscribing his identity into a more general context. The neurosis and fears located at the pathogenic core of liberal philosophy are clearly seen in The Open Society and Its Enemies, a classic of neoliberalism by Karl Popper. He compared fascism and communism based precisely on the fact that both ideologies integrate the individual into a supra-individual community, into a whole, into a totality, which Popper immediately qualified as totalitarianism. Having undermined the individual as a constitutive figure of the entire political and social system, we can put an end to liberalism. Of course, this is not that easy to achieve. Nevertheless, it is now obvious that the weakest and the strongest aspect of the first political theory comes from its direct appeal to the individual, pleading that he remain himself, by himself in his own autonomous individuality, uniqueness, particularity, and partiality. In any case, the fourth political theory can interpret Popper's phobias in its favor. This led him and his followers to anecdotal conclusions. Quite telling are his feeble-minded criticisms of Hegel in the spirit of a smear campaign, and the accusations of fascism directed toward Plato and Aristotle. Understanding what the enemy fears the most, we propose the theory that every human identity is acceptable and justified, except for that of the individual. Man is anything but an individual. We must look carefully at a liberal when he reads or hears an axiom of this kind. I think this will be an impressive spectacle. All his tolerance will instantly evaporate. Human rights will be distributed to anyone, just not the one who dares to utter something along these lines.